2019, Alex experienced something he couldn't explain. Something so terrifying, it changed how he looked at the world forever. It unearthed family secrets that were meant to stay in the past, and it sparked a new fascination in the paranormal and the unknown. In late 2019, Alex had gone up to his grandmother's for the holidays. He was her only grandson, and he felt that he owed her a visit. You see, Alex's grandmother had started developing signs of dementia, and he wanted to have as much time with her as he could before, inevitably, she would start to lose who she was. So, that fateful December, Alex packed his bags at his dorm room and made the trip up north to the East Coast to visit her. The trip went as he expected. He had good conversations of the past and had good memories that he shared with his grandmother, all while celebrating the holidays together. One day, his grandmother asked him to help clean up stairs while she had him there to help. She really couldn't get herself up those stairs anymore, and the rooms up there had just piled up with old things over the years. So, slightly begrudgingly, he made his way up the narrow staircase. Upstairs, he found rows of boxes and junk piled up in the corners of the rooms. So Alex did the only thing he could. He grabbed some trash bags and got to work. About 4 hours in, he stumbled across an old photograph that looked like it was from the 1950s. In it, he saw his grandmother in front of a sprawling, oppressive-looking building that sent shivers down his spine. Alex couldn't really put a finger on why, but the photograph just felt off. He took the picture downstairs and showed his grandmother, asking about what and where this was. His grandmother, who was generally a happy person, grew dark and moody upon seeing the photograph, and wouldn't answer any of Alex's questions. He chalked it up to the dementia and just went back to cleaning. For some reason, Alex couldn't stop thinking about that picture and the building that it showed. He asked his grandmother again about it, but she said that she didn't recognize the picture or know where it came from. She seemed to have no memory of the conversation they had days before. After doing some research at the local library, Alex discovered that the building in the photograph was an old abandoned asylum that was about an hour and a half away. Why was his grandmother in the same picture as this asylum? The question nagged at Alex. The pull could not be resisted, and soon enough, Alex set off on a quest to uncover the truth behind the asylum and that photograph. One moonlit night, armed with a camera, a flashlight, and an unwavering resolve, Alex ventured deep into the woods where the asylum was rumored to stand in isolation. Alex stumbled through the dark brush, pushing the branches and leaves out of his face until he saw the building off in the distance. Alex wasn't sure if it was the hike or the sight of the asylum, but his heart was bursting out of his chest. The asylum loomed before Alex, its windows like vacant eyes, and the ivy-covered walls gave off a chilling aura. Upon stepping inside, the air grew heavy with a mix of mildew and forgotten memories. Alex's flashlight beam danced across the broken furniture, shattered glass, and decaying remains of what was once a place of healing as he slowly entered the building. As Alex ventured deep into the decaying remains, his footsteps echoed through the empty halls. And that's when he heard it. A faint whisper, like a distant conversation just beyond his reach. Alex slowly followed the sound up a steep, empty stairwell, and then wound himself through the maze-like corridors. The whispers grew louder, but their words were still indecipherable. He described the sound as somewhat mournful, even though he couldn't understand what they were saying. Upstairs, Alex worked his way over a pile of debris and rubble that had piled up in the hallway. As he looked up, he saw that the roof was, most likely, not structurally sound anymore, and immediately started having second thoughts. The fact that there was real, tangible danger in this building started to set in. That's when he heard the voice again. This time, closer, right down the hall. He worked his way timidly down the pile and around the corner, where he found a door. The door was large and made out of hard wood, which was unlike any of the doors he had seen so far. On the door was carved elaborate religious iconography depicting the crucifixion. He put his shoulder against the door and shoved. After what seemed like a long moment, the door slowly swung open as he pushed whatever was blocking the door out of the way. Inside, Alex found the hospital chapel. The moonlight spilled through the stained glass on the upper walls, casting an eerie glow on the floor before him. He stepped inside, scanning with his flashlight back and forth, looking for the source of the voice from before that was now silent. He pulled his camera and snapped a few pictures, and sat down on a pew to take it all in. That's when he felt it, a hard pressing down on his shoulder. Alex sat up out of instinct, but whatever it was shoved him back down on the pew. Alex tumbled forward, breaking his camera and accidentally tossing his flashlight in the fall. The light skittered across the floor and under the pew in front of him. Terror welled up in Alex as he scrambled for the light, pushing over everything that was in his way. He finally recovered the flashlight and immediately trained it on the spot that he thought the figure would have been standing behind him, only to discover nothing. It took a minute for Alex's brain to catch up to what had just happened and catch his breath. As he slowly started to compose himself, something behind him slammed to the ground. Alex said he didn't even turn to see what it was. He just bolted for the open door in safety, leaving his camera behind. Alex stumbled out of the asylum and back into the night. He really didn't remember how he got back over all that debris and down the stairs, but he found himself running through the trees before he stopped and looked back. Alex felt he had experienced something beyond his understanding, something he could not explain. It left a pit in his stomach as he made his way back to the car. He made it back to his grandmother's house without another incident and went straight to bed. The next morning, he hugged and kissed his grandmother goodbye and went back to school. About a week later, he called his mother and told her the whole story. Turns out, there was a little more to the story that Alex didn't know. After he finished telling his mom what happened, it was silent on the phone for a moment. Then his mom told him the person in the photograph wasn't his grandmother. His grandmother had a twin sister. In the 1960s, his grandmother's sister was committed to that asylum. No one in the family really knows why, but his mom had heard that her aunt had a violent outburst that led to her being institutionalized. Either way, she lived the rest of her life in that building. Apparently, the sister would write Alex's grandmother every week, begging her to visit her. But apparently, it never happened. Alex's grandmother never visited her sister in that place. After decades of wasting away in that asylum, she finally died in the early 90s. But until she did, she would apparently visit that chapel every Sunday, praying for her sister to come and visit her. What did the sister do to get put in that place? Why wouldn't Alex's grandmother just visit her sister? Was it her ghost that Alex experienced in that chapel that night? I guess we'll never know. Alex's grandmother died in 2021, taking all her secrets with her. She never talked about her sister to anyone, even on her deathbed. I want to thank Alex for submitting his story to the Night Signal and letting me make a video out of it. If you have a story you want to be made into a video, you can submit it by email to broadcaster7@thenightsignal.com, or you can just visit my website. The Night Signal now has a merchandise store, so if you're dying to get a hold of a Night Signal t-shirt or hoodie, you can click the link in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed our content. Your support helps us keep the Night Signal broadcasting. And as always, this is Broadcaster 7 asking, are you receiving the Night Signal?